All right. Our president says one of the best and most beautiful parts of the United States of America is burning down to the ground in its ashes, and Gavin Newsom should resign. This is all his fault. Now, some people hate to hear the truth. They run away from the truth. They hide from the truth. But here's the truth. In 2018, Trump stood right next to Gavin Newsom and stressed the importance of forest management. Yeah. Again, people don't want to hear the truth. They run away from the truth. They hide from the truth. But, you know, the president has been right about almost everything. So let's go and roll it.
It's cleaned out and protected. You got to take care of the floors, the floors of the forests. Very important. You look at other countries where they do it differently, and it's a whole different story. I was with the president of Finland, and he said, we have a much different, we're a forest nation. He called it a forest nation. And they spend a lot of time on raking and cleaning and doing things, and they don't have any problem. And when it is, it's a very small problem. So I know everybody's looking at that, to that end, and it's going to work out.
And again, he was right about everything. 4 months ago, Trump warned. Again, warning comes before destruction. But he talked about the water in California. I mean, 4 months ago, you guys. 4 months ago. Warning comes before destruction. People hate to hear the truth. They don't want to hear the truth. They hide from the truth. They hate the truth. But check this out.
And you have so much water, and all those fields that are right now barren, the farmers would have all the water they needed. And you could revert water up into the hills where you have all the dead forests, where the forests are so brittle. Because no place is like California. I go to Austria. The head of Austria tells me, we have trees that are much more flammable than what you have in California. We never have forest fires because they maintain their forests. And you have all that water that could be used as water, what they call water flow, where where the land would be damp. And you'd stop many of these horrible fires that are costing billions and billions of dollars by the federal government, etc. So one thing I'm going to do for California, vote for me, California. I'm going to give you safety. I'm going to give you a great border. And I'm going to give you more water than almost anybody has. And the farmers up north are going to be able to use 100% of their land, not 1% of their land.
And here's your woke, disgraced governor loses his mind live on air, responding to President Trump. Check it out.
People are literally fleeing. People have lost their lives. Kids lost their schools. Families completely torn asunder. Churches burned down. This guy wanted to politicize it. I have a lot of thoughts, and I know what I want to say. I won't. I stood next to a president of the United States of America today, and I was proud to be with Joe Biden. And he had the backs of every single person in this community. He didn't play politics, didn't try to divide any of us.
Finally, your message to the folks here, to this community.
I mean, we have their backs, and we're going to be back. And this is going to be a long recovery process. But look, we have residents moving back into Paradise, California. I've seen remarkable recovery efforts. I've seen remarkable sense of community, purpose, resilience. So, I'm not just playing the politician role of optimism. I really am long-term optimistic. But the devastation to hear people wailing and crying, concerned about their pet, their family, they're just bewildered about what they're experiencing. And again, not just experience. I was not talking past tense. This is happening in real time. 0% containment.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey.
Why this beat so
We will make America proud again. When you try to kill our we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Boy, oh boy, what's going on, beautiful people, my brothers and sisters? I hope everybody is blessed, well, and healthy, and that nothing but the best is going on in all you beautiful people's life, man. What a time it is to be alive, man. 2025 is off to a crazy start. Want to send my prayers, my love and thoughts to you guys, man. And before we get into this part of the video, and I want to send my prayers to California. But this goes to show you how temporary life is. You know, we are temporary, man. You can have something and in a blink of an eye, you know. We lose loved ones, you know. We all our time is taken for all of us, man. You know, and this is why I encourage you to spread love, to be there for one another, to care for one another. Stop being so selfish, you know. The little things, man, the little things, and you know, we take it for granted, man. You know, but we live in a very, very everything is temporary, man. Everything is temporary, you know. Taxed all outdoors, taxed by 9-15 times. Even when you own it, you really don't even own it. You know, it's sad. And I'm just being real, man. I'm just being real, man. People are losing everything. You know, people done worked years and used all their savings and built it from the ground up, and wham, it's gone. And that's been happening to millions and millions of people, man. You know, hurricanes, you name it, all. So I encourage y'all to spread the love, man. It's all temporary, man. But continue to be the best person that you can be. Continue to spread the love. Continue to stay positive, you know. And don't give up, you know. Don't give up, man. Keep fighting. We all have to keep fighting, man. But I want to send my prayers, my love and thoughts out to the ones that have been affected. And then to everybody that's watching today's video, that you have an amazing 2025. You know, that 2025 is an amazing year for you, your family, your friends, your neighbors, and the strangers around the world. Yes, indeed, y'all. But let's check this out. Trump has called for Gavin Newsom's resignation to resign. And can't get a word. Did the mayor finally speak? You know, she is, I tell you, man, an absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace, man. And it is sick what is taking place. It really is, you know. They slashed $18 million from the fire department while increasing budgets for cannabis, illegal immigrants, you know, and then helped and sent fire departments up to Ukraine. And now the dispensaries, libraries, shelters are now in flames, and there's no water. Yeah. Incompetent. DEI. Unqualified of individuals, you know. Incompetent leadership. And what's crazy is warning comes before destruction. A lot of warnings were were sent out there. Trump called it from the beginning, even 4 months ago, even what 5 was it in 2018. Warning comes before destruction, though, y'all. Warning comes before destruction, man. But there's no water. That's what you know. And they're next to an ocean. I mean, man. Well, let's get into it, y'all.
President-elect Trump is calling out California's Gavin Newsom over the state's response to the fires and its long-term planning.
Nate Foy is live in West Palm Beach, Florida. Hey, Nate.
Hey guys, good morning. President-elect Donald Trump is highly critical of California Governor Gavin Newsom's water management decisions in the years preceding these horrific fires. Namely, Trump says that Newsom should have and refused to sign a water declaration or a water restoration declaration that could have put California in a much better position to fight these fires.
I've been trying to get Gavin Newsom to allow water to come. You'd have tremendous water up there. They send it out to the Pacific because they're trying to protect a tiny little fish. And for the sake of a smelt, they have no water. They had no water in the fire hydrants today in Los Angeles. This is a true tragedy, and it's a mistake of the governor, and you could say the administration.
So Trump is referring to a 2020 memorandum that he signed meant to bring more water to Los Angeles and other parts of California, but the state said it wasn't scientifically justified and sued to block it for concerns about endangered species. Newsom's office pushes back on Trump's story, saying, quote, "There's no such document as the Water Restoration Declaration. That is pure fiction." Meanwhile, Trump is demanding Newsom's resignation, writing on Truth Social, quote, "One of the best and most beautiful parts of the United States of America is burning down to the ground. It's ashes, and Gavin Newsom should resign. This is all his fault." Here's Newsom last night.
One can't even respond to it. I mean, it's people are literally fleeing People have lost their lives. Kids lost their schools. Families completely torn asunder. Churches burned down. This guy wanted to politicize it.
What is the situation with the water? Obviously, in Palisades, it ran out last night in the hydrants.
The local folks are trying to figure that out. I mean, just when you have a system that's not dissimilar to what we've seen in other extraordinarily large-scale fires, whether it be pipe, electricity, or whether it just be the complete overwhelm of the system.
Trump will attend former President Jimmy Carter's funeral in Washington, D.C. today, and then he'll fly back to Palm Beach, where he will meet with Republican governors at Mar-a-Lago tonight. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Nate, thank you very much.
Yeah, they're talking about the tanks. They were empty at 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, they were empty.
On Tuesday?
On Tuesday. You got to be kidding me.
That's crazy.
Palisades,
That's
if
crazy,
you have a $3 million home,
that's crazy.
If the taxes are like New York, it's probably $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 in taxes you're paying, and you can't get a hydrant. Yeah. You can't get a hydrant in front of your house. I mean, what about working class areas? If the high tax areas can't do this, and Rick Russo came out and said, I talked to firefighters. They are frustrated. They're pulling up, and they said there's no water there, and they said that they don't have equipment necessary to fight. So, and while she decides, Karen Bass says, I'm looking at my budget, and I got to give over $1 billion to homeless, and I got to cut $23 million from the budget for firefighters. And they came back and said, you can't cut 23. So she says, all right, we'll just cut 17. How does that sound?
I would just like someone to tell me the appropriate time to criticize the leadership here. I mean, to the president, and I talked to the president last night, his criticism is warranted. He predicted this before it even happened. And he said, this is something that we can do to solve this problem. Okay, they don't do it. And now we're in this mess. A governor who loves to do press conference, loves the showboat of, the office, but when it comes to management and leadership stuff, he was asked about the fire hydrants, and he says he's going to leave it to the locals. Mm-hmm. There's a tragedy going on county to county, okay, city to city. You would think the state would have a position on that. And he says, just go to the locals. That's a failure of leadership.
One young man in Pacific Palisades, I saw an interview with him. He was a high schooler. And he said, they came to our house to try to hook up to the fire hydrant right in front of our home, and there was no water. Absolutely no water in this neighborhood in America. That shouldn't happen. Who's responsible for that? Who should be held accountable? Is it Karen Bass? Is it whoever's over the community of Pacific Palisades? The water problem needs to be fixed there, especially when there was an alert a few days before and Karen Bass goes over to Ghana and then flies back and won't answer questions. The reporter says, with Sky News, says, do you want to apologize to your community? She didn't say anything. Do you want to apologize for cutting the firefighters' budget so much? Why is homeless getting more than $1 billion and firefighters are getting their budget cut $17 million?
Well, look, the problem was, and you saw it live yesterday, there were 100-mile-an-hour winds. Mm-hmm. You could have 1 jillion gallons of water. It's not going to put it out. Obviously, what has happened as the winds have gone down and the fire crews have been able to get in and get back up into the air, they've been able to use the existing facility. One of the problems is they've got these great big tanks. Apparently, the city of Los Angeles has 114 massive tanks. They were all filled up at the beginning, but then nobody was expecting that kind of demand, and then it ran out. So going forward, your point about criticizing the leadership is accurate. It's like, okay, who decided we would only have this number of things? Who decided we would only have this number of tanks, this number of trucks, and stuff like this? And also going forward, I think a lot of the people in California are going to say, we could have had more water coming from that San Joaquin Delta thing if there weren't so many environmental protections for a tiny little fish that has been declared extinct.
Well, even Donald Trump in November of 2018, almost 9 years ago, he was out in the woods with Gavin Newsom saying, you need to fix your forests. How can Austria do this? How can Finland do this? They have many more trees and more forests than you do in California, and they don't have
warning calls of full destruction.
I wonder if those tanks are actually full, Steve. I know you got to take them at their word, who's checking them, but I wonder if they were actually even full, because you don't run out in hours. It doesn't matter if it's a big or small fire. You can't run out hours into a huge fire, even before you even know the magnitude of it. Maybe you can't get it out, but you could just save neighborhoods.